What's going down, kinfolk? It's your boy Screwface Capone in the house, the gaming mobster, and I'm back with a first impressions video. So first of all, the footage you're seeing is from the game. It's from my playthrough. So this is basically just an audio thing. So if you're doing something like, I don't know, cleaning, cooking, maybe you work from home, or maybe you're doing homework or studying, then you can just have this playing in the background. I'm just basically here to talk about the my first impressions of the game. And also, I'm doing this a little bit differently, as you can see. Usually when I do these previews, I tend to script it out first. This time I'm just going by straight train of thought, just speaking whatever's on my mind at the moment. Reason for doing this is because I kind of want to get this out quicker. This is going to be a very busy weekend, and I still want to put this video out while it's still fresh, like it's still a hot topic. Strike while the iron's hot sort of thing. Alright, so Redfall is the new co-op online shooter from Arcane, and it's for Xbox Series X and PC. As you know, it's been getting a ton of negative press, a ton of negative reviews. Even some of the hardcore Xbox channels like Rand Outdoor and Colton Eastwood have been talking about it. So far, I played this for 3 hours. To be exact, I played a little over 90 minutes Tuesday when it came out, and I played for 90 minutes yesterday, Wednesday night. It's Thursday night while I record this, and I'm looking to have this video up by either Friday morning or Friday afternoon, no later than Saturday morning. So basically what I'm speaking on is based from my experience 3 hours in. Now, while the game does have issues, I really didn't think it's that bad from what I've seen so far. Maybe I need to play a little bit more to see what everyone else is seeing and what everyone else is dragging the game for, but so far I've been having fun with it. There are a few big issues, and I'll speak on those in a moment. So basically what Redfall is, it's a shooter. It's a looter shooter. It's an open world looter shooter for up to 4 players. So think of it as Borderlands meets Far Cry. You're basically going around picking up guns, and they'll have certain stats on them and certain abilities. You'll use them a lot, then you'll toss them aside when you find something better. So you can pick from one of 4 heroes. They each got 3 skills that you can unlock, and you can also upgrade these skills. Right now I picked Jacob. He's like the ex-military sniper type guy. So his abilities, he can summon a ghost crow, which can mark the positions of enemies that are in a certain radius. He has an invisibility cloak, which lets him sneak up on enemies. And for his ultimate, he can summon a magic ghost sniper rifle, which can lock onto enemies and do tons of more damage for a short period of time. So like when you first get the abilities, like they're not too impressive, but you can always upgrade them. Like you'll gain levels and you'll gain a skill point. So if you played similar type of games, it's a lot like that. So there's a little introductory sequence where you're escaping from a ship. You make your way to a fire station. You got to turn the power back on, and then you got to rescue the civilians inside. And after that, the fire department basically becomes your main hub. You'll chat with NPCs. You'll restock supplies. Certain people will give you side missions, and when you're ready, you can go to the mission briefing table and pick up one of the main missions. So far, I completed 3 of them. So it's basically just like go here, kill this, or go here, find this or whatever. So you'll be doing some traveling, and of course you'll be doing combat on the way. So there are 3 major types of enemies that you'll encounter. There's like the cult. There are these guys that worship the vampires, and they're militia type folks. So you're going to be coming across these guys like for most of the game, and they're basically just cannon fodder. There's also the bellwether security folks, the big PMC that's covering up what's going on in the town of Redfall. And they use more advanced military tactics and weaponry, so if you encounter them, you'll see some gadgets like tripwires and automated turrets and things like that. And of course, they're the vampires themselves. They'll just pop up whenever, and they'll just attack you. They'll tear the shit out of you if you aren't careful. So at times you'll be facing maybe one or two at a time, and they'll be tough enough on their own, especially early on. But then you'll be coming into situations where you're facing entire packs of vampires, maybe like 5, or maybe even 10. So what you basically have to do is you have to use your bullets to weaken them, and then you'll need a weapon with a stake attached to it, and that's how you finish them off once they're stunned. So it's pretty satisfying. Like once you kill a vampire, like they're giving you all this trouble, and then you gun them, and then you shoot them up, and then they're just stunned, standing there for a little bit. Then you move on them and you stake them. Now, one of the weapons you can get is a stake shooter. So it doesn't hold as much ammo, but it really comes in handy against vampires because they do tons of damage to a vampire enemy if it doesn't outright kill them. So if you're going in a situation where you know you're going to be facing a lot of vampires, then you're going to want to keep at least one in your inventory. And there are even different types of vampires. I encountered at least one, which is basically like this shroud vampire, and once she sees you, she'll generate like a black dome around you that makes it hard to see her, but she can attack you. So basically the key is to stay out of sight, and since I was playing as Jacob, I could use the invisibility cloak to move around her. So again, that's one you're definitely going to want to bring that stake thrower with you. Now, the side missions, like, a lot of them will involve, like, finding a safe house. And once you encounter a safe house, you'll have to restore the power to it, and then you'll get into there. And basically the key is, like, you've got to complete these safe house missions in order to, like, allow the people to take back the neighborhood. So there will be, like, 1 or 2 missions. By the way, so far I only did, like, 2 safe houses, but you have, like, 1 or 2 missions. And they'll be pretty quick stuff, like just go here, kill this enemy. One safe house mission, which was the aforementioned, where I found that aforementioned shroud vampire. I had to prevent these enemies called blood bags from filling this chrysalis, and then once the chrysalis broke open, that's when I had to kill the vampire. So after you complete the safe house missions, then you'll encounter what's called a vampire underboss. So these are basically boss battles, and these vampires are going to be tougher and trickier to fight. But the 2 that I fought so far, they went down pretty quickly, like once I used the right tactics on them. And they'll drop a skull once they're defeated. And supposedly this skull can be used to find treasures, or you can even use it to face one of the vampire gods. I haven't gotten that far into the game yet, so I'm not sure how that works so far. Like so far I took one of the skulls and found this little cave with a stand on it where I can place it on, so I'm not sure what that does yet. So yeah, basically it's your typical Far Cry style stuff. It basically commits the cardinal sin of pretty much any modern open world game, because it kind of feels like it's more of a checklist. Go to this section, unlock this safe house, do this, do that. I'm surprised I'm not climbing up any phone towers or whatever, or climbing up any flagpoles or whatever. Like when you're in Assassin's Creed, you climb to the top of that tower and it unlocks all the stuff in that little vicinity. I didn't see anything like that. Oh yeah, another thing about the safe houses, like they're basically used for fast travel. So also another issue that I saw with the game was with the AI. Like sometimes during combat, like they would do a good job of putting up a fight, trying to flank me, trying to sneak up on me. And then other times, I would see the enemies like just standing there looking dead into space and whatnot, or just not doing anything. and I could just easily take them out. Like, it wasn't very often, but it was just something that I noticed. And of course, there is the always online issue. Like, it doesn't make sense that if you put that a game's single player component would require that you be always online. But it does look like that Arcane is going to be fixing that. And of course, there is the 30 FPS issue. Like, that really didn't bother me as much because, like, number one, I'm not really a big graphics guy. It is kind of crummy that, like, it didn't ship 60 FPS at launch. But again, this is another thing that they're working on. Now, I know that there's a bigger conversation like game developers releasing games in states that aren't finished, because it's not just Arcane, it's not just Microsoft, it's an industry-wide thing. But this is another story, but that's another discussion for another time. Maybe an episode of my podcast, Wo Talks About Games. Hint, hint, check the description. But beside that though, the combat, it was pretty fun. I kind of felt like, I had like, there was like variations on ways I could approach a situation. Like, I was encouraged to like basically come up with new techniques, like try new things, try a different strategy. So, that's a cool thing. And while I did say it, makes those typical stumbling blocks that you see in other open world games, it felt like because like the game's world was a bit more smaller and compact than something like, say, Far Cry 3, I didn't spend that much time like namelessly wandering around the place. Like, if I need to go somewhere, I can always go to the map and set a ping, and that'll help me navigate and get where I need to get. And there are still things that I was able to find by exploring on my own without like having to be on a mission. I mean, it's obviously not Elden Ring level, but there's stuff that's there waiting for you if you're willing to poke around a bit. Usually just other items and stuff, or maybe more gear. But again, it's one of those nice little touches. As for bugs, I really didn't come across any bugs during the 3 hours I played. But again, because I only played it for a little amount of time compared to maybe others, maybe again there's probably stuff that I'm not seeing. But I guess what it is though, like, it's just a lot of mindless combat fun. And that's the kind of stuff I'm into at the end of the day. Plus, when you factor in vampires, then you got that little bit of cool factor. I also kind of like the storyline a little bit. It's a little bit different from other video games, and I'm kind of like interested in learning more about the background and stuff. So again, is the game perfect? Not by any means, but it's not that bad. And it's definitely not going to be the death of Xbox that everybody is claiming that it is. Now, speaking of Xbox, though, they're definitely going to have to really focus on what they're going to do and how they're going to put out stuff going forward. They got a lot riding. This time they got Starfield coming up. We haven't seen much about Avowed. We haven't seen much about Fable or any of their other big games that they've previewed. But, again, that's another conversation for another time. So I'm definitely gonna be going back in and playing more of it this weekend. See if if it still keeps up that energy that I had with this first impressions, or if there's a part of the game that becomes truly dreadful, and I end up like turning away from it. Either way, I'm likely going to do a follow-up video. Oh, you know what? There's something else I failed to mention. The safe houses. Like, I unlocked 2 during the game, and the interiors just both look the same. So obviously, that's not as big an issue as some of the other stuff with the game, but I think that does look a little bit lazy on the part of the developers. But again, I didn't think it was that bad, and it looks like Arcane is dedicated to making fixes on it. So, and plus, at the very least, it's on Game Pass, so if you subscribe to Game Pass, then you're basically getting the game for free. So that was my quick look at Redfall. If you came at this video hoping I would bash it like other people have, then I'm sorry to disappoint you, but there are, of course, thousands of other content creators more than willing to go in on this game. So again, like I said, I'm going to play some more of this game and do a follow-up at some point. Let me know what you think in the comments. If you like this video, hit that like button. And normally, I like to look at indie games and retro titles along with gamer-related toys. So if that sounds good to you, then please hit that subscribe button. And until next time, I'm Audi 51000G.